I thought the scrimmage was very competitive. It was a physical scrimmage. Um, I really liked the way our guys competed. It was a cleaner brand of football than what we had been playing previously. Um, I really like we put an emphasis on technique and fundamentals up until this point, doing simple better, and there was a conscious effort on our from our players to do that and to play with discipline, play with good pad level, great hand placement, footwork, being physical, just playing clean, fundamental football and playing fast. You need to know what to do, how to do it, and why it's important to do it that way. And also, our guys really consciously trying to strain and do what we ask them to do, which is critically important. We ran the ball quite a bit in the scrimmage. We really need that the run game work on offense and defense. I really like the way our offensive line was coming off the ball. The tight ends need to be able to do it all. They need to be able to block in the run game, and then be able to win one-on-one in the pass game. And so we got a lot of work done there. Receivers did a really good job blocking. We need to improve. And then we put pressure on our defense to stop the run. We were more stout. I said our technique is getting better inside, setting the edges in the run game. We want to set the edge and build a wall, and then let our linebackers, feel and see the ball and go get the ball. Actually, the secondary run support was it got better as the scrimmage went, and guys really started to show up and hit. We had a pretty good net on the ball. We did give up some explosives, but that's all leverage and tackling. I thought our quarterbacks, they seemed to be efficient. Throw the ball to the open man. Take what the defense gives you, not trying to force it. I thought we took care of it. We took care of the football. The communication is getting better, and when you hear guys communicating with authority, that means that there's more confidence, there's more understanding of what's expected, and so on both sides of the ball, the communication was much improved, and that's just part of the process. And then we were able to get our situational work in. First and second down, third down, we're down in the red zone, got 2 minutes. So it was a comprehensive scrimmage. It was our first time being able to go live to the ground. And I thought it was just a clean scrimmage. I felt like our team was improved. We have a long way to go. We're still building. And our newcomers have really helped to elevate the intensity of our practices, because we have competition at every position, and guys are really fighting for jobs and working to do what we want them to do, and that when we carried that over into today's practice, this morning. But again, we still have quite a ways to go. It's a process, culturally, how we go about our business. It's still not where we want it to be, because I want these guys to play football the way I want them to play. I believe the game of football should be played a certain way, with great technique and fundamentals, and not a lot of the extra that doesn't really matter, does not contribute to winning. We don't talk to the opponent. We don't need to spend a lot of time, getting into shoving matches and things like that. It's just a waste of time. We need more attention to detail, more urgency, in between plays, hustling to get lined up. I want guys to strain to finish. I want guys to better play harder for longer. So this was practice number 7, and giving all these guys an opportunity to show what they can do, show that they can be coachable, and play up to the standard that we lay out for them. And after practice 15. We'll see where we are, but I talked to him about the aggregation of marginal gains. Everyone get 2% better. 1 or 2% better every day, and it adds up. And then we can just keep moving forward and improving our football team. And after practice 15, we'll see where we are. But I'm not interested in going into the summer with anyone who's not willing to play or not able to play the type of football that we need to play here. So every opportunity is opportunity. Every day is an opportunity to show what you're all about and how much you've learned, and can you improve? Can you take it from the classroom into a walkthrough, into individual work, to group work, and scrimmage, and eventually to a game. So it's a process. We've been getting good work in, but we're still a work in progress. We are making strides. So we just keep moving until we'll watch the film of today, and then we'll keep going, and we'll meet with them tomorrow and get ready to go again on Thursday. I like the way we're working, but we do need to keep raising the bar and get as much out of these guys as we can, and putting pressure on the coaches to make sure that we're getting it done the way we need to get it done. And because the lowest level of performance that you accept as a coach, that will become your culture. And so, we're not letting anything slide, and giving guys an opportunity to show that they can perform at the level that we need and do it exactly the way we want it. And then we'll find out as we go who can do that. And then things are starting to shake out a little bit, as the intensity of the practices elevates. You really find out, what who can do what we need them to do. Pain and pressure is really what moves the needle with guys. And so we're making our practices as difficult as they can be, putting pressure on guys to compete in situations and see what they can do. So we're getting a lot of work done in a short period of time. We don't have a day to waste. So we're just gonna keep the train on the tracks and keep it going. But with that, I'll do my best to answer any of the questions that you have.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Chris Solari from the Detroit Free Press.
Hey, Mel, good to see you. I guess kind of getting into maybe a little bit of what a Mel Tucker scrimmage is. How much, do you devote to that situational stuff like you mentioned? Do you try and make it game-like? I know Mark had done altered scoring. Do you keep score, or do you focus on the individual elements of what guys need to do? And do you stop and start and move the ball around and things like that?
Yeah, we don't keep score per se. We'll go like ones versus twos versus ones, then we'll go ones versus one for the rest of the scrimmage. Everything we do is situational, so it's gonna be first and second down. We had a rack of third down plays that were scripted. We also had moved the field where we were just really playing the game, and guys were being extended, having to play more than 3 or 4 plays in a row like they would do in a normal scripted practice. We were able to go down in the red zone and get some work in with 2 minutes. But everything is situational. We're not just out there just running plays. We did, on each side of the ball, we do keep stats, with the first group and then with the second group, and then the group overall on each side of the ball, because we have goals. We have goals like first and second down goals, third down goals, red zone goals, ball security, turnovers, things like that, 2-minute goals. And so, after the scrimmage, we'll post we'll go over the goals and see how many goals we hit, and then we'll kind of just do it like that. So we got a lot of work done. We're able to quantify it and evaluate it, and then show it to our players, and then get better.
That was going to be my follow-up on that, is the quantifying factor. How much, especially at the quarterback position, how much of it is what they do on the field, and also how much of it comes back to rewatching it the second time to kind of learn and fix those mistakes at this point in the season?
Yeah, that's part of the process. you play, you practice, and then you watch the film. We grade the film. The players watch the film on their own. When they come back in on Monday after a scrimmage, they have all already watched it on their own. We tell them to have questions ready. We have players texting us over the weekend, the questions they have. So when they come in on Monday, we can hit the ground running. They're not seeing the scrimmage, really for the first time on Monday. They've already seen it over the weekend. And then we go to onto our corrections. We use film. We show them what they did right. If they did it wrong, we show them that and tell them how to correct it and expect them to get it right the next time we put them in that situation on the field. And so that's part of our process, to evaluate it, to grade it, to make our corrections, learn, and then move forward. I mean, a coach's job is to teach, motivate, and develop. And so we put them in situations to be able to do that. And the players need to improve because there's no reason not to. If you're not improving, then you're basically, you're wasting time. And if you can teach, a player can learn. And we have excellent teachers on this staff, so I expect guys to be able to learn and get better.
Our next question is from Matt Wenzel with M Live.
And Mel, obviously a unique spring, given you didn't have one last year, but for all the years you've been doing this, have you ever noticed when you get to like that midpoint of spring practice that maybe some fatigue sets in with guys? I don't know, like the dog days or anything like that, where you kind of refocus guys for the second half, pushing towards the spring game?
We shouldn't really have that in the spring because we're practicing pretty much every other day. We're going Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Guys have a day in between the practice, so there's plenty of time to rest and recover. If there's any type of lull in there, any type of fatigue, it's usually you give in mentally before your body gives in physically. We do have some guys banged up. Football is a collision sport and injuries are part of the game, but for the most part, guys should be fresh and ready on every practice.
And you said that the scrimmage is obviously a chance to start to see separation. Are there any particular positions or guys that you started to see that on Saturday where they stood out?
At each position, we're seeing guys that are starting to separate themselves. But we don't, there's no child left behind. We want to be able to bring them all along at this point. But once you get, 5 practices or whatever, and then you go into a scrimmage and you see who can carry it over from like in the progression. The progression is the meetings, walkthrough, individual work, group work, teamwork, and then a scrimmage. And the scrimmage is the closest thing you can get to a game, and you can see who can carry things from one progression to the next. Some of the young guys, once they get that scrimmage or a couple of scrimmages under their belt, then you start to see the game slow down for them. They start to rise their level of play, rise to the occasion because they kind of already been there and they kind of see what it is. And so we're starting to see that with some of our young guys. But obviously, guys are at different levels, different stages of their development, and it's our job to get them, to push them all forward. And like I said, the aggregation of marginal gains, it's the process. We're not gonna be able to sprinkle dust on guys and all of a sudden, take them from A, to Z. I mean, you got to go they got to go progress and get better. So I mean, that's why I expect to see just steady improvement. If we're not seeing steady improvement, then something is wrong, and we have to identify that and find out, hey, what's the problem? Then fix that if we can.
Thanks, Mel.
You're welcome.
Our next question will go to Lindsey Huddleston.
Hey, Mel, sound like you got that outside coaching voice going on. Just curious to know, I see so much activity in the portal, all these new guys coming in with big resumes, and you talk about sprinkling that dust. How is that working when, quite frankly, you still don't have a 100% recruited Mel Tucker team? So there's a mixture between the guys you're bringing in, the guys you're developing, and players that were here before. Is there a cultural clash that you're working through, and what is that going to mean come summertime?
Yeah, well, I only raise my voice in enthusiasm. So I may be a little bit hoarse today, but that's because we have an enthusiastic practice, and we need our coaches, we need our players to be able to respond to our coaching and to our voices. And so sometimes a little voice inflection is what's needed. The new guys coming in, we've done a lot of homework on the guys, and so guys are the right fit for what we want to do and fit into our culture, into our program. And the day that they get here, we start to on the onboarding process. We explain to them, this is what this is all about. This is what we expect. This is how we expect you to handle yourself, day to day, on and off the field. And our newcomers have done that to this point. I don't see a conflict like in culture, but you can't take it for granted. We have to be intentional about connecting with all of our players, especially the new guys to the program, so that we can build a team. And because this is an ultimate team sport. It's not a game of like individuals. You have to buy. We want guys that can want to buy into something that's bigger than themselves, and buy into the team concept. When a team does well, everyone does well. And so I haven't really seen issues to this point. Now what I do see guys coming in, with a chip on their shoulder, wanting to get jobs. I mean, because you have to earn. We're not giving spots where just because you come in, that doesn't mean you have a starting job. You have to earn that. So it's open competition. So it just is raising the level, all over the field at all positions. And quite frankly, mid-May through probably the first week of June, we have another wave of players coming in, that they're finishing up high school or finishing up where they are from a transfer standpoint at another college or university. And so there's going to be a significant amount of new players coming in. So the team that we see right now, the team that we will see like in the spring game and practice 15 is not the team that we'll even have during our summer program. So we're constantly working to build our team, bring guys together and get the buy-in. But coming out of the spring, I need to know exactly where everyone is, and if it's going to work here for you or not. And that's what we're doing. But for the most part, what I'm seeing is guys at this point understanding this is what is required. It takes what it takes. There's no shortcuts. There's no way around it. I mean, football is a simple game, and let's do what the coaches tell you to. Have a coach me coach attitude, and get out there and get it done, and then rest and recover and get ready for the next one. I'm seeing that. I do see a little bit of some remnants of maybe things that have held us back in the past, a lack of discipline, things like that, a lack of attention to detail, the urgency, and we confront and demand, right on the spot. And so, when we come out of the spring, that should be all cleaned up. If it's not, then there's probably an individual problem there, and there needs to be. If we can fix it, we'll fix it. If we can't fix it, then we can't, and then we'll have to move on.
Our next question will go to Rainer Saban of the Detroit Free Press.
Hey Mel, as you build this team, how much did you believe in the concept of just building from the inside out, both on the offensive side and the defensive side?
I believe it. Are you talking about from the offensive defensive lines?
Yeah, basically, and then going out. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, in recruiting, the purpose of recruiting is to improve your team. So every time we recruit a player, we expect that player to help improve that unit. But I mean, by all means, the game is won and lost in the trenches. And so we want to make sure that we're strong on our offensive line, we're strong on our defensive line. I believe in being strong up the middle. Like baseball, you got the catcher, the pitcher, shortstop, second base, center field. You need to be strong down the middle. Same thing on offense or defense. We want to be stout in the middle, and so that we can control the line of scrimmage. Be able to run the ball on our terms, and then be able to stop the run on defense and make people one-dimensional. So that's been a point of emphasis for us, because if you can't run the ball on your terms, and you can't stop the run, then you can't really beat good teams.
On that note, as you know, obviously being a DB coach, I mean, do you also kind of believe that it's better to get pressure, obviously, with just 4 down linemen, as opposed to dialing up a lot of blitzes and that kind of thing, because obviously that gives probably more security on the back end if you can just get pressure with the 4 guys up front.
Ideally, you like to be able to know that you can get pressure with 4, but we have a comprehensive scheme where we have, base rushing coverage, and then we have our pressures, and then we have our blitzes, and those are the categories. And we need to be able to use those to complement each other. Your pressures, your movements up front complement your base. Your base complements the pressures. And so we have to be efficient in all of those areas to be able to have a comprehensive dynamic defense so we can play the game we need to play each week, because every game plan is not the same. You're going to have different challenges based upon the offense that you face, but if you can get pressure with 4, then that's ideal, and we need to be able to do that. If you're relying on pressures and blitzes to be able to get guys stopped, to get teams stopped all the time, then you're really just a one-trick pony. You're not going to be able to get it done on a consistent basis.
Thanks.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go to Rico Cooney with Spartan Magazine.
Hey, good afternoon, Mel. Hope you're having a good day. Hey,
glorious day in the East Lansing.
Can you talk a little bit about Peytonthorne after the first week, what you've seen from him and what you saw from him in the scrimmage, and then what are your expectations going forward?
Yeah, Payton has done a nice job. He has a pretty good grasp of our offense, and he plays with confidence, and he knows what we expect from him is to run the offense, get us in and out of the right plays, make the proper checks, make the proper reads in the pass game, and take what the defense gives you and take care of the football and lead and compete. Your quarterback has to be your number 1 competitor. He has to be at that position. When you touch the ball on every play, I mean, you got to be the guy. You have to be a leader. You have to be able to take charge. You have to have command. You have to have poise. You have to have presence. And you need to be able to run the show. And so, he works really, really hard at his craft. He takes a lot of pride in his performance and his detail, and he comes to work, every day, and he's really serious about it. And he doesn't take anything for granted. That's what I like about him. He's a go-getter. He's a worker, and he's always working to get better. And I believe that he puts pressure on himself, to get better and to push. I mean, he's a coach's kid. I mean, he knows what it's all about, and he's willing to compete.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Time for a couple more. We'll go to Stephen Brooks with 24/7 Sports, and then we'll wrap it up with Paul from Spartan Magazine. Stephen?
Hey, Mel. Just wondering about Travaris moving back onto the field. I remember when we talked to him, he was really excited to be able to make that jump. Just curious about your thoughts on how he's handled everything and what you've seen from him through 7 sessions here.
Yeah, T is I mean, he's been with me, 3 years at Georgia, a year at Colorado last year. I mean, this is year 6 being with me, so I know what he can do. He played at Georgia Tech. He played in the NFL for, I believe, maybe 7 years. He played for Nick down in Miami. So a lot of the terminology and the techniques and just the philosophy in terms of how you play back there, he understands. We see it the same way, and so for him to go on the field, it's not a big jump for him. It's not like this is his first rodeo, so I know exactly what to expect. He coaches guys the way I expect him to be coached, and he's very demanding, confronting demand, and he coaches guys on every play, good or bad. And so I have a level of confidence with him because I know that we see secondary play the same, and so it's been a smooth transition.
Got it. Thank you.
Sir, thank you.
Our last question for Coach Tucker will come from Paul with Spartan Magazine. Paul?
Yeah, Mel, I wanted to ask you about Anthony Russo, what you saw from him in the scrimmage, and how he's coming along as far as learning the Jay Johnson's offense and that kind of thing.
I could tell that he's learning the offense, and he's getting a better understanding each time that he goes out there. He's a mature player. It's not too big for him. He's got really good pocket presence. He's want to step up in the pocket, stand in there and deliver the ball. He's got a strong arm and he can make all the throws. And he understands the run game and what we're looking for there. He gets us in and out of the plays. And as he gets more and more comfortable with the offense, he starts to play faster. And then his leadership abilities are starting to show up more and more each day. So I'm glad we got him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. We really appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything that y'all do for us. Appreciate you covering the team. And we'll see you next time. Go Green.
Thanks, Mel.